Hey everyone, Leo here. Today is November 17th, 2025, and XRP is trading right around $2.20 amid one of the most pivotal weeks in its history. Multiple spot XRP ETFs have either just launched or are set to go live in the coming days, starting with Canary Capital's product that debuted last week with record-breaking volume for any ETF launch this year. Wall Street's Tom Lee from Fundstrat has been highlighting the massive institutional wave coming to crypto overall, with forecasts for Bitcoin reaching $200,000 to $250,000 and Ethereum at $10,000 to $12,000 by year-end, driven by regulatory clarity and trillions in traditional capital flows. While Tom hasn't given a specific XRP number recently, his framework points directly to assets like XRP benefiting from this shift. Stick with me through this full breakdown. I'm sharing fresh data from today's X discussions, on-chain insights, ETF mechanics, and a grounded crystal ball view on where price could head by December 31st. This is detailed analysis based on public trends and developments. Let's dive deep. Let's start with the current landscape. XRP has held remarkably well around $2.20 to $2.27 despite the broader market correction, down from its 2025 high near 3.66, but up massively year to date. The big story, spot XRP ETFs are here. Canary Capital's XRPC launched on November 13th with nearly $250 million in inflows and $58 million in day one volume, the largest debut for any ETF in 2025, outpacing even major launches. That's real institutional demand, validating XRP as an asset class. And it's just the beginning. Franklin Templeton's EZRP is confirmed to launch tomorrow, November 18th on CBOE, with Bitwise, 21 Shares, CoinShares, Grayscale, and others lining up through late November. Today's X is buzzing. Cointelegraph posts confirm 4 ETFs this week alone, with 3 more soon, garnering thousands of likes and reposts. Community analysts like SMQKDQG highlight Franklin Templeton, previously calling layer ones like XRP massive potential, and now they're proving it with their own product. This ETF wave isn't random. It follows Bitcoin and Ethereum's path, where approvals unlocked billions in flows. Bitcoin ETFs saw peaks of over $1 billion daily early on. Even a fraction of that for XRP, with its more constrained effective supply after escrow dynamics and institutional holding, creates meaningful pressure. On-chain data today shows whale accumulation continuing, with selling pressure easing as holders position for what's next. Posts from influencers note authorized participants must source actual XRP to create ETF shares, pulling tokens off exchanges and into vaults. One viral thread explains how multiple launches clustering this week could accelerate liquidity demands far beyond what OTC desks can quietly supply. Now, layering in Tom Lee's macro view. He's emphasized crypto's role in a productivity boom under clearer regulations, with institutional adoption exploding. His Bitcoin and Ethereum targets imply a rising tide for the sector, and XRP stands out with its proven utility in cross-border payments. Ripple's on-demand liquidity already processes billions in real volume for institutions, settling in seconds for pennies, far superior to legacy systems trapping trillions in nostril accounts. As tokenized assets and CBDCs roll out globally, XRP's position as a neutral bridge asset becomes central. Tom Lee's thesis on assets enabling real-world efficiency aligns perfectly here, especially with ISO 2022 standards going fully live soon, which XRP complies with natively. Building on today's real-time insights from X, threads are exploding with explanations of XRP as the ultimate bridge. Not speculative like some, but infrastructure for moving value worldwide instantly. High engagement posts from accounts like XRP Hattery and others translate updates on ETF launches, with thousands interacting. Another standout? Franklin Templeton's own past statements resurfacing, validating their ETF move. Community reactions range from cautious optimism to strong conviction that this week's launches mark the start of sustained demand. One post notes even modest weekly inflows of $500 million to $1 billion, conservative versus Bitcoin precedents, compound quickly given XRP's structure. Step by step, why this positions XRP strongly into December. First, the launch cluster. Canary set records. Franklin Templeton, a trillion-dollar manager, follows tomorrow. Each new ETF adds rails for capital, with creation-redemption mechanics requiring spot XRP. Second, reduced selling. Years of escrow releases are winding down, whales are net accumulating per on-chain trackers, and ETF vaulting locks supply long-term. Third, technical setup. XRP is consolidating above key levels like 220s, with indicators resetting after a healthy pullback, similar to pre-breakout phases in past cycles. History shows XRP performs strongly in Q4, especially with catalysts. Let's explore scenarios with mini cliffhangers. What if inflows mirror just 20 to 30% of early Bitcoin ETF levels? Models shared today suggest billions monthly absorbed, tightening available float dramatically. Or consider global adoption. Ripple's partnerships span Asia, Middle East, Europe, and now, with US clarity post-SEC resolution, expansion accelerates. Posts break down remittances alone, a multi-trillion market, where even partial capture drives enormous utility demand. But wait, add tokenized real-world assets, where XRP enables seamless movement, and the picture expands further. Expanding on technicals for clarity, daily charts show XRP respecting the 50-day moving average as support, with volume spikes on up days signaling accumulation. Weekly timeframes reveal a multi-month base, akin to 2017's setup before explosive moves. Analysts today point to potential targets like 260 short-term. If 220 holds as flip support, then higher on momentum. RSI is neutral, not overbought, leaving room for upside without immediate exhaustion. Addressing common questions and doubts, because I've seen them in comments and on X. Many wonder why price hasn't exploded post-Canary launch. Answer: it's early. Initial inflows often build gradually as advisors allocate. Liquidity providers ramp and awareness spreads. Bitcoin took weeks to fully reflect ETF impact. Others point to past sideways action, normal in bull markets. Corrections shake out leverage while strong hands build positions. Today's data confirms no panic selling. Instead, hodler metrics improve. If you've doubted ETFs would ever arrive, remember the skepticism before Bitcoins, now history. Deeper into utility, XRP isn't just a token, it's live infrastructure. Hundreds of institutions use RippleNet, with ODL volume growing steadily. Upcoming standards like ISO 2022 integrate perfectly, positioning XRP for mainstream finance. Combine that with ETFs bringing trillions in potential capital, and the dual demand, speculative plus real world, sets a unique stage. More on inflows. Conservative estimates from analysts, factoring multiple products, project hundreds of millions weekly initially, scaling as AUM grows. Historical parallels. Solana ETFs saw strong starts. XRP, with deeper fundamentals, could exceed. Post-today model, supply shock timelines, 4 to 8 weeks until OTC desks strain, forcing higher exchange buys. Climbing toward the crystal ball. Integrating ETF momentum starting this week. Tom Lee's institutional bull case, easing supply pressure, technical readiness, and XRP's infrastructure edge. My analysis sees meaningful upside by December. Short term, retesting 3 plalos on launch waves feels probable. By year end, with compounding flows and positioning, a range of $4.50 to $7.50 appears grounded in comparable models. More optimistic paths, if demand surges like early Bitcoin phases, open higher, but staying data-driven keeps expectations realistic. Extended takeaways. This week's launches, Canary Live, Franklin tomorrow, others following, represent a turning point, opening XRP to regulated investment at scale. Regulatory tailwinds persist, utility expands, community strength endures. We're early in witnessing XRP's role in efficient global finance. Important disclaimer: none of this is financial advice. All views are based on public market data, trends, ETF filings, and analyst discussions. Conduct your own research and assess risks carefully. If this detailed analysis helped clarify the bigger picture, like to show support and help spread the word. Comment your thoughts on December levels below. I read them. Subscribe for ongoing updates on XRP developments and crypto shifts. Share with fellow community members. Together, we're tracking this evolution closely. Leo out.